spiritually speaking, in the Bible, which is a book of business, in Matthew 7:24, the scripture says, therefore, everyone who hears the words of mine and put them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on rock, right? That means to a solid foundation is wisdom. Building your business with a solid foundation is wise. If you guys remember the story about the three little pigs, right? So here's the principle out of that particular story. So there was the three little pigs, and they were building their house. And one built their house on straw, the other built their house on sticks, and the other was building their house with bricks, right? So the three little pigs, they were building their house and they wanted to protect it from the big bad wolf. So in 2019, that big bad wolf was a pandemic, right? And so what happened was the three types of businesses, the straw biz, the stick biz, and the brick biz, right? So those are three types of businesses. So these are the three little pigs that I'm talking about in the story. For the pig that actually built, or the business that built their house on their foundation on straw, when the big bad wolf came, it huffed and it puffed and it blew the house down. For the business entrepreneur who built their house with sticks, when the big bad wolf came, called the pandemic or whatever it is that's going on, when the big bad wolf huffed and puffed, it was able to blow their house down. But for the business that built theirself a solid foundation, now there's a specific, and I'm going to give you guys this checklist of what it looks like to have a solid foundation for everyone who is registered, to attend the GovCon book conference. I'm gonna send you a free checklist. But there are certain check items on this particular list that shows you exactly the foundation that you have to have. But also, this checklist not only shows you how to create a solid foundation. So when the pandemic came, for those who were doing business with the government, actually they made multiple millions. In fact, those who had just positioned themselves to do business with the government, their business grew multiple times during the pandemic, right? So this is how I know that the government contracting is a fail-proof business model. It's not only a solid business model, but it's the business model that allows you to have a brick foundation, which is a solid foundation, right? But this solid foundation also allows you to attract a premium buyer into your business, like the government. It allows you to attract the premium buyer, like the government, into your business, as well as corporations. So if you have this solid foundation, then guess what? Not only can you not participate in the statistics that I shared with you, your business will not fail. Okay. So when I first started my business, I didn't know anything about a foundation. All I had was a business license and I had an EIN, and that's all I knew. So I was wondering why, when I went to the bank to try to get a business loan, hello, somebody, I was wondering why I was being declined. When I tried to get a startup capital loan, I was declined because they say they got this money for us at these resources at the banks and things of that nature. But there's a lot of things, checkpoints that they go through. If you don't understand what your foundation should look like, then that is the reason why you will be denied. And so anyway, having a perfect business foundation, or even a solid business foundation, not only allows you to qualify for government contracts, but it also allows you to get those yeses when you go to the bank. And so without a solid foundation, there's a quote. One of my favorite quotes is, without a solid foundation, you'll have trouble creating anything of value. That is by Erica Oppenheimer. That's her name. But also, spiritually speaking, in the Bible, which is a book of business, in Matthew 7:24, the scripture says, therefore, everyone who hears the words of mine and put them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on rock, right? That means to a solid foundation is wisdom. Building your business with a solid foundation is wise, right? But the foolish man who built his house on sand, with the straw, like the pig, or with the sticks, like the pig, right? When the rain came, and the streams rose and the winds blew and beat against that house, it surely fell and it crashed, right? So you want to make sure that you're building your house on a solid foundation. So here's a statistic that I would like to share. There are 30.2 million small business entrepreneurs in the US today, but only a fraction of them survive. Now, these are staggering facts, right? 20% of small businesses fail, of course, by the first year, 30% by the second year, 50 by the fifth year, and then when I say 50 by the fifth, and by the 10th year, a staggering 70% of businesses have shut off their lights. Okay. For minorities, now this is the reason why certifications is so key. For minorities, the numbers can be even more staggering, more daunting. 8 out of 10 Black-owned businesses fail within their first 18 months, right? And COVID has exacerbated that. And that you would need startup capital, right? These are some of the myths. Like, in order to start a business, you have to bootstrap your way to the top, and you have to get startup capital and all those things, right? But the truth is, you can actually have a very highly profitable business if you have the right posture, which means that you're in position to win, right? If you want to get in position to win, then definitely you want to be able to leverage every opportunity that the government has for you. So truthfully, so here's a true story. Now, the first contract that I ever landed for the $70,000 for 28 days of work, like in a month, 28 days is a month, right? But however, with the services that I was offering, it was only 2 hours a day to participate, to do that, right? To deliver on my promises, which was like photography, right? So when you do the hours, 28 times 2, that's 56 hours. So that's for most people working a week, 40 to 50 hours, right? So for 1 week worth of work, it was $70,000. Now, when you stand on, like, when you understand how powerful that is, and know that there's a whole lot of those out there, and even bigger than that, right? Then you know that the government has your money. Not only do you know that, but how powerful it can be and how much it can literally change your life. Okay. So that first contract I won was simply because it wasn't because I was the best photographer out there. It wasn't because I was just smart enough, right, to be a part of that particular spending. It was simply because I was a certified woman and minority owned business. So that certification gave me the opportunity to be able to participate in a multi-trillion-dollar project. And so this is what we're showing people how to do, right? Because if you basically pitch an opportunity to be on a multi-trillion-dollar project where they have a certain percentage is set aside for minority-owned businesses, then guess what? If you have that certification, it gives you your key to skip the line and to participate in that. And